We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Chris here, Vegan DeFi. Hello to all of our friends listening to us from all around the world, and also to all our friends here in Denver. Here at the Beacon House, here at this beautiful, wonderful structure. It's actually a 10 room boutique hotel that we've acquired, and it's been a really great experience so far. Today we're going to be talking about bull market mindset. We'll talk a little bit about ETHDenver while we're here as well. Hopefully my internet is okay. It's looking like it's a little funky, but we should be good to go. So for anybody who is out there, feel free to join. Feel free to join us live. Happy to see everybody, seeing some people kind of move in. Let me just do a quick thing. We are here live, like I mentioned. Just doing a quick little message to everybody out there that we are live. Hopefully everyone's having a great day, it's what, Friday? Yeah, it's Friday, March 1st. Can't believe it's already the first day in March. We'll do this true old school style. If you've been with us on these workshops before, if you're following us live, please tell me where you're calling from. Happy to see where everybody's calling from or listening in from. I know we have people here listening from live in ETHDenver at the venue. We have people here in Denver here at the house. Hello, everybody here, waving at you guys. Yeah, so super excited to put this together. It's been a lot of just putting our heads together. Obviously, we are in a special time frame with everything going on with the markets. I'll give you a quick rundown of what we've been doing so far here in ETHDenver. So Andrew's been here since last Wednesday. He's been doing a lot of networking with the development teams at different hacker houses. He's gained a ton of alpha while he's here, met a lot of really important people, people who love what Beacon does, what we're doing with school, with TVL rather, and just everything that we're doing here with regards to how we're just trying to spread the word about trying to onboard people into DeFi and Web3 safely and securely. A lot of people seem to resonate with that message that we're trying to give. So thank you for taking time out of your day to join us today. Here on a Friday, normally we do a Beat the Banks live training at 3 p.m. Eastern, but today we're doing this whole workshop. So let's do this real quick. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Feel free to put in the chat anything you're really excited about with where BTC and ETH are at right now. Any price predictions, obviously not financial advice, but where do you think? Are we halfway to 100,000? I want to hear it. Be with you guys in just a second. Thank you to everybody who is joining us today. Thank you for your patience. And yeah, hopefully you find good value in this. YouTube.com. We're actually live streaming on both YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Okay, we'll get started. Okay, let me get a bigger screen here. There we go. Okay, so you got my screen here. You see me here in Denver. Let's go over here. Okay, so tell you a little bit about our in-person workshop history. So this is the third one that we've done. Last year was the first one we did in person called Entering into Crypto Nirvana. So we did that here in Denver, really right down the road from where we are today. And basically the idea about doing the in-person workshop was really not only strengthening those connections, but being able to engage with people in real time. I thought it was really important specifically for this exercise. So the idea of entering into Crypto Nirvana was really just keeping you in a persistent state of a flow state where you could reap the benefits of really just doing everything and everything goes really well for you. And then you do that by increasing what we call propellers. These are things which give you lift and keep you in flight, just orbiting, in this beautiful state of crypto nirvana where, you're in true financial freedom. You're at that goal state where you're a successful investor. But to get there, you have to reduce and eliminate what we call anchors. These are the things that are weighing you down. Behaviors, pardon me, any issues that you may personally have that you need to correct. That's pretty much keeping you on the ground and not giving you the ability to get up, be given lift by your propellers and get into the flow state. So specifically what we did for this actual workshop, and some of you here on the call may remember this. We took a large whiteboard, we divided it into two spaces. We have both the anchors and the propellers, and we had everybody literally write down everything that was an anchor to them and everything that's a propeller. And basically we put them on the board and we talked about them. Things like need better education, need more discipline, need to stop FOMOing, just not being greedy enough. We had people on both sides of the spectrum. They're too risk on, so they didn't really let go when they possibly should have, or just get into that mindset. So that was entering the crypto nirvana. The reason I'm talking about these is all of these seem to harmoniously kind of come together. We didn't mean for them to be that way, but they seemingly happen to have a little bit of a harmonious serendipity when we kind of think of them in terms of what's going on. So we will be doing another in-person workshop at our next event. Most likely will be Permissionless, which is in October in Salt Lake City. So if you guys want to join us for that, that'd be fantastic. So yeah, if you're curious about getting into a crypto nirvana state and figuring out what that is, start off with a very simple list. You can put on a piece of paper in Notepad, on your iPad, whatever you have that's like a whiteboard type of application. Start on the left with anchors. These are things that are weighing you down. Go here into propellers. Things that are going to give you lift, like being a part of TVL, being a part of the Beacon Mastermind, engaging in your local crypto community, that type of thing. Things that are getting you on the path, to becoming a successful investor and getting into that flow state. So yeah, try that for yourself. I think it's a really good exercise. I think you should do it probably honestly twice a year, because as you all know, here in DeFi, things move at a mile a minute, right? So essentially we're talking about things that, ultimately can change, just like that. So I did want to preface this for anybody who's on the call. We're really not going to talk too much about alpha today. This is more of a mindset thing, more of just getting you an idea on how to get that mindset for what's coming in the bull market. So if you're looking for like demonstrations or anything like that, that's not going to be this kind of workshop. So feel free to, you can watch the recording then if that's the case and check it out later. So, and I do thank you for your time today. ETH Miami, that was last October. We were there, had a great time with a bunch of our members who were there. This one was called Building a Second Brain. So essentially, this was kind of more of the alpha piece about if you have, obviously there's a whole fire hose of information that's out there, right? So figuring out your edge, and this is something that CJ and I talked about as well. We had a little session on that day, and it was the 28th of October, where we talked about building your edge, refining your edge, looking at current narratives and figuring out how to curate and process your alpha to create that edge for you. So Build a Second Brain is not a brand new concept. This is something by Tiago Forte. You're more than welcome to look up BASB. I'm a huge fan of the framework, and ultimately using Para, which is his system, which is processes, areas, resources, and archives, I think is what it is, to really just organize a lot of the information that's coming in, and then using tools to distill that information using his code paradigm, which is also part of Build a Second Brain, to organize and create actionable alpha for yourself to execute on. That's what COD, like C is collate or cultivate, organize, distill, and then execute or express. That's really what what Build a Second Brain is really about, and Para is a new framework built in to kind of optimize that, specifically with a lot of tools that are coming through. And ultimately, it's about creating a regular routine to organize and act on that alpha that you find. We do have a bunch of new tools that help with this process, specifically with regards to AI tooling. So, I do have a couple of, different options here, but there are different AI powered tools that could be worth your time. Most of them are paid. There are some that are free, but they're very limited in what they can do, right? To break it down quickly, it's about just cultivating and organizing a lot of alpha that you have coming in, whether that be through Twitter feeds, through podcasts, whatever you have coming in, finding a service that can transcribe things for you and then bring it into whatever your domain is that you're going to be processing all of your information. You can do that in something like Notion, and Obsidian is another one. Evernote, OneNote, Para works even with Apple Notes or even Notepad. Just depends on what you have. It can be as complex or as simple as you want. It's all about what works for you in terms of building that system for yourself. You can certainly use things like Notion and Rainbow.io for organizing any of your social media, specifically with Twitter or X, any blogs that you follow. You can use API-based tooling like If This Then That, which is IFTTT, Make, Automator, Zapier, things that are out there, and then also use syndication apps like anything with RSS, like Feedly, Reader, a couple others that are out there. Instapaper is one that you can use to read it later. Pocket is another one. Unroll, Thread app. These are all tools that you can use to take information that's coming in and make it more organized for you. So that was really the big part of BASB, at least in Miami, was trying to come up and use tools that we have specifically to make your cultivation of information easier so you can more easily refine the edge. Now, especially when we have all of these AI tools here as something that we can use, it actually becomes a very important thing to be able to control how you process your information. Because what's great about tools like this is that you have that history. And as part of BASB, the one thing you want to do when you're doing your code process and distilling information is every time you look at something, you want to do any type of improvement to make it more actionable, make it easier for you to express or execute on whatever that actionable alpha is, each and every time. So let's talk about this workshop. This is the bull market mindset workshop. Worked with multiple people on the team. You had GGLP, Andrew, Gabe, Jangle, giving some information on ultimately what is the best way to get this mindset for this bull market. Because make no mistake, we called it back at ETH Miami. We were in the beginning of the structural bull market then. Look at where prices are now. Look at where the hype, where the cult of Bitcoin, cult of Ethereum, even cult of XRP, if you want to call it that. Everyone is buzzing. ETHDenver is a madhouse right now. The number of people I've talked to with the energy, people are just walking the floors. Everyone has a smile on their face. I've only been through about a quarter of the actual event because there's just so much to see. There's 3 full floors in the castle and then 2 extra exhibition buildings where there's more and more protocols and teams spread out to talk to people and let people know what they're building. So we'll talk a little bit about what it takes to take care of your positions in a very active and volatile market scenario. I'll give you some takes on what the narratives are in 2024 that you should keep an eye on. And again, if you follow our calls, we've talked about many of these narratives along the way. These will just be kind of some short takes that you can have along the way. You want to build a bull market edge. Bull market plans are different than bear market plans. So you need to essentially make 2 different plans, 2 different edges, because the way that you would operate in a bear market with regards to your portfolio and how you're specifically working on your positions, your allocations, even your entrance and exit strategies are going to be different depending on the market conditions, right? This is no different. You definitely want to be able to have the confidence to be flexible and make smart decisions. 2 months ago, 3 months ago, really, even more, longer, I was not a big supporter of BRC20, and to be frank, I'm still not. But I cannot deny the ideas of what developers have done to build on the Bitcoin Lightning chain. Now, to be fair, there's still more that they have to do. But the fact that they've been able to build in some mechanisms to help investors speculate and do more with their Bitcoin than just send it to another person is huge. Obviously, we're nowhere near having the basics of what you would see in Ethereum or other smart contract-based blockchains that are out there, or even anything like zero knowledge is a huge part of this year's ETHDenver. You're not really going to see a whole lot of that on Bitcoin yet. You're going to have to do a lot of retrofitting, a lot of bolt-ons to maybe make that a thing. And maybe Bitcoin transforms altogether as part of some type of hard fork. Who knows? But it's still the barometer for what we see as crypto investors, right? We still care about the price of Bitcoin. So just kind of remember that. Be flexible. There could be things that change your mind tomorrow, next week. I met a team that they're still in testnet, but they found a way to do a DEX on Bitcoin L1, not an L2, on layer 1. And it was an unbelievable project. And I hope they do make it to mainnet. We do have seasons here in this market. There are phases in terms of value. These are things that you're going to need to know exactly where we are on the phase chart. And it should be helpful in terms of giving you the idea of what type of mindset that you'll be looking for when it comes to how you're going to build your portfolio and maintain it. And of course, if you've been to any of my tradings, you know that we then talk about security. But first, security. I cannot stress enough how important security is going to be in this cycle. I've already seen a dozen different wallet solutions just in my very short time walking the floor. They're going to make it easier for you to get online, on chain rather, not online, on chain. Besides that, more tools are coming out to make your life easier to become an on-chain native. I talked to a new blockchain called Luxo, L-U-X-K-S-O, and specifically they have universal profiles, which are meant to tie in with ENS domains, all kinds of things, trying to create a more, dare I say, Apple-like experience, just because they're trying to build an ecosystem that's kind of walled with a lot of really cool tooling on the inside for social type of stuff. So the tools are on the way. With that said, there are things you have to be very wary of. There are things that you have to make sure that you maintain what we call OPSEC, which is operational security. And what does that mean? Having strong seed phrase sanitation, strong password management, strong physical network tools, and just having a good mindset of being secure. Use a hardware wallet. Use a good password manager. All the things that we tell you to do. Don't click on random links. These are all things that are good OPSEC, right? Use a throwaway email for things. Use a VPN. All of these are things that are helping you as an investor have the privacy and the security needed to go through what you need to do as an investor. And also, and this is something that they'll talk about. This is kind of a recurring theme. It's hard to do this alone. There are people, I'm sure, that can do this alone. And if you can, great. I commend you. But for the majority of us, including myself, I need the success of being with a team. I need other people to hold me accountable. I need to hold others accountable. And that resonates with me with regards to security, with OPSEC, with safety, and also with investing and just straight yield farming and having the right mindset. So you'll hear more about that as we go through this workshop. Just also want to mention that none of this, of course, is financial advice in any way. It's also not tax advice in any way. These are all things you're definitely going to have to think about as you move forward. Again, this is just educational material for your own personal enjoyment and entertainment. So let's go back to a bull market mindset. So let's talk about the keys to success. You need to understand the different seasons of allocation phases. Where we were in the bear market, just straight accumulation of majors, right? Altcoins are down. We're not really in altcoin season, and it's all about DCAing into BTC, ETH, and whatever high conviction assets that you have. Those are your major, your blue chip coins. There's more than that in the bull market, of course, because Django made the joke the other night. We're in a bull market. Number go up, IQ go way down, and there's some truth to that, even though we joke about things like that. But one thing I definitely want to talk about is discovering your focus. That's going to be a big part of this workshop, is understanding what is your focus going to be. Because I walked the floor and saw 72 things yesterday in my 4 to 5 hours walking around and meeting and shaking hands with dozens of people. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to do this well alone. If you want to be successful, if you want to make the most out of your experience as a crypto investor, you got to form a tribe. Even if it's just you and 5 friends that you work with. I would prefer that you go through us, whether you go through our free group at TVL, which is at school.com/beacon. I'll put the link in there right now. Or if you don't know, you can certainly join. And I almost knocked over my microphone. Stay. Or if you want to join our mastermind, you can certainly do that as well. Reach out to me if you're interested in that. But yeah, a lot of people are joining our TVL group over at school.com/beacon. Welcome to all of our new members. And of course, thank you to all of our existing members who've joined us over from Beat the Banks. Hope you're enjoying your school experience so far. Again, make sure that you go and do an introduction, because anyone who puts in an introduction, we're automatically taking your name down and we're putting you into some drawings for some giveaways. Because if there's one thing about Chris that you may not know, Chris loves swag. I love swag. How much do I love swag? I have a pile of swag over there, literally, and it's the silliest thing. It's just an audit company came up to me and gave me, he's like, "Hey, I heard you educate people. Give these to your members." And he gave me a whole bunch of multi-tools, and they're really clunky. Let me grab one. And so anyway, it's one of these things. See that right there? Has like a can opener, and of course it's the size of a credit card, so you can use it as a wrench, and whether or not these things actually work well, different story. But yeah, if you want hats, socks, t-shirts, stickers, maybe even some Beacon merch, like a hoodie or a beanie or a trucker cap, fill out an introduction on School. Happy to put you in a drawing for such a thing. And thank you, Steve, for giving me your t-shirt size. I appreciate that. Yeah, so definitely form a tribe of bulls to work with. There's so much out there. There's no way that I can even fathom that you're going to be able to do this alone and do it really well. You're going to have to figure out where you're getting your alpha from, what's the alpha that matters. And ultimately, this is something we teach in the mastermind. The biggest part of understanding alpha is filtering out the bad alpha, getting past the noise and getting to the stuff that really matters. With that said, become the ruler of your focus. And we'll talk more about that as a recurring theme here too, because it's so much easier to be good at 1 or 2 things than really good at 50 things. And in this bull market, you're going to have 50 things to look at. I want to make sure you make an action plan. And that's the main product outcome of what this workshop is. You need an action plan. You need a plan. You need to stick to it. And I say this all the time in trainings, right? The failure to plan is a plan to fail. That's such a cliche thing, but really, the easiest way to get wrecked in this space is to veer away from your plan. As long as you have a plan, and you can keep it very fluid, as long as you have something that you can refer to that has very basic concepts on it, things that you're looking for. And we'll talk about this more in a little bit. That's all that matters. And of course, keep control of your allocations. It's very easy to get into anything that someone shows you right away. And then you have to remember exactly what that is. So keep track of everything you're getting into. Obviously, utilize a dashboard like DBank, Nansen Portfolio, Pulsar Finance, 10.network, Zapper, anything that you have out there, or even spreadsheets, whatever you have, just so you know what you have. Because in a world full of dozens of meme coins and other projects that are out there that may not be picked up by some of these dashboard companies that you'll just at least want to make sure that you can at least see where it's at and figure out where you're going, how you're doing. Okay. All right. Cool. So let's talk about phases and seasons of allocation. And before we do that, first of all, I want to know, has anybody seen this graph? If you have, let me know. It's one that's been making the rounds. Also, I'd love for you to like on this stream. It'd be really great. Ultimately, we want our workshops to be out here. We're actually going to start uploading a lot of our trainings out to YouTube, and that we're putting here on school. So ultimately, we would love to spread the word, let everybody know what we do here. So again, phases, seasons of allocation. So it says past the alt season, but really we're just kind of trying to figure out the right way to go about this. So I've talked to multiple people this week that believe that we have entered phase 2 of this infographic. And ultimately, we like where Bitcoin is going because Bitcoin overall is the tide that raises all ships, right? As Bitcoin rises, so does everything else. If you're on TVL, check out Andrew's capital rotation narrative. It gives you a lot of information as to how a lot of this works. But essentially, the idea is we're going to see Bitcoin go up in price, and then Ethereum goes up in price, and then we see all of the technology with Ethereum that comes up. Possibly we talk about a flippening, and that's something that we've talked about a long time. For anyone who doesn't understand what that means, there are people who believe that if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, we believe Ethereum will go to 150,000. There will be a point where the value of Ethereum should flip Bitcoin. It'd be wonderful if it did, right? Especially if you're DCing in right now. But that is what the flippening could do. So they're both going to rise. The value of altcoins are also going to rise. Large cap altcoins will probably start first. So some of your larger cap coins like Celestia, even things like Pepe, Bonk, anything that has large market caps, Doge, SHIB, things like that. They'll probably accelerate. Obviously, if you get in now, you won't get as much gain as you would if it was a lower market cap type of coin. But that's where those large caps are going to start to inflate and in value as Ethereum gets larger and larger. And then after that, we go into what we call full altcoin season. That's where everything goes up. Everything, literally. You're going to see dozens of coins. And I saw this in 2020, in 2021, dozens of coins get launched, go straight up. And you can't really explain exactly why. It's just that time in the cycle. So everything go up, memes are everywhere, cults are everywhere, cult-like followings, anything that you need, it's just going straight up. So everything goes parabolic, and ultimately there's like a rotation, literally a comfortable rotation where people go BTC, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it should be part of how you're going to round trip this entire cycle. And with the strategy we're telling you here, ultimately you're going to have a strategy that kind of mirrors this phase chart altogether. Okay, so let's talk about being ready. So with regards to a bull market narrative, a strategy, this is a primer on how you could play the cycle. And I have some people here coming in live, so welcome everybody. So ultimately, if in the bull market cycle, you could use tools like Dune dashboards, Arkham, whatever's out there, DBank, obviously with a spreadsheet, and you can follow the whales and other schools of fish, like large wallets, and see what they're doing, see what they're purchasing, see what they're buying. That's the beauty of blockchain, right? It's a public ledger, it's immutable. You don't know exactly who anybody specifically is unless they specifically doc something. And you can watch exactly what's happening. Now, with that said, a little bit of a rumor that we're hearing here at ETHDenver, there's going to be full KYC on multiple blockchains coming very soon, or at least by the end of the year. So you might be there might be tools that will make it very simple to follow large named accounts and things and other things around to specifically know exactly what they're doing. As this starts to happen again with that chart that I was just mentioning, Bitcoin, Ethereum, majors, blue chips, right? Large caps, and that includes things like Solana, anything that you might think might be, a long-term hold. These are things where it's just going to move into. You need to loosen your focus from those and start to ride the cycle. Respect new narratives because there's going to be new coins coming in. I'm talking about coins like Tau, all the big ones you keep hearing about, WorldCoin, all these AI coins, anything that might be the next new, right? These new narratives are coming through. Even GameFi tokens could be huge. Cash. I just talked to Cash today. They gave me a sheet of really sweet stickers. So ultimately, this cycle, I don't think you can see my cursor, but specifically this point down here, BTC into ETH to altcoins, then narrative coins, and then cash. That's essentially the cycle of how you're going to play it. You're going to take your majors, purchase altcoins. Obviously, those altcoins are going to rise faster than BTC or large market cap coins ever would. And then you're going to get into narrative coins, and that could be restaking, AI, RWAs, anything that's out there that could be specifically a narrative. And then from there, go into cash. The idea here is you want to take profits every step of the way if you have the ability to. I understand wanting to compound and pad and reinvest your money back into your portfolio, but if you never take profits along the way, exactly. What's wrong with you? I love having an audience. So please, for the mental health of yourself and everyone around you, please take profits any chance that you can, because again, this is all about ROI. This is all about getting good at being an investor. And ultimately, as you have more cashing on the sidelines from these profits, you DC back as the cycle moves back towards BTC, ETH, and majors. You DCA back in and you round trip it again. You're going to hear a lot of different takes, a lot of different analysis on how long this bull market is going to last. I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, we'd be in a beautiful ice chalet at the top of the mountain in Denver, and I'd, be holding two gold-plated guns, speaking to the world about how this works. I'm joking, but it's this is. I think I definitely share the same sentiment with many people who are here live with me that this is most likely going to be the bull cycle, the bull cycle of a lifetime. Yeah. And it's up to you to see how you do here. And of course, we'll probably have multiple chances to round trip it here in this cycle. So, be ready, have the right mindset, because you have your bear market mindset. And even now in this transition, many of us are still a little skittish. I'm one of them. People are still a little scared to go and make the choices. Some people still have analysis paralysis with regards to what's going on. Is there a beeping? Is that an alarm? Oh, the door to the cooler is still open. There we go. Thank you. We have a wine cooler here that's beeping. Don't mind me. All right, so let's talk about narratives, because ultimately, a lot of these narrating into from altcoins, and when I mean altcoins, we're talking things like blockchain native ecosystem gas tokens, things like that, or very large cap narrative coins that have been around a long time, like some of the large meme coins that you've heard of that have been around that are listed on CEXs and stuff like that. And again, I'm not going to be naming coins here. I'm just giving you quick takes on things. So if you've been following us, obviously none of this is really anything out of the ordinary, but we'll start with AI. In my opinion, crypto and AI, they are destined to be married together moving forward. AI is just advancing at such an amazing speed and pace right now that most people are very scared at what's going to happen with AI. From a code level, from building, we're seeing UIs and full protocols being built with what we call no code using AI tools. There's plenty of synergies that can help improve crypto tooling and processes from the ground level to make them better. And I do think that they're going to help each other along the way, whether it's through decentralized infrastructure helping AI get more bandwidth, more throughput. Things like a cache helping out BitTensor and some of these other decentralized AI projects get off the ground, or even just new technologies helping AI graphics cards do new things to help us crunch numbers and provide more analysis that's out there. Real world assets, or RWAs. You're going to hear this in mainstream conversation as tokenized assets. And right now, the biggest one that most people talk about with regards to RWAs is going to be T-bills, right? So we're talking about short-term U.S. Treasury bills. They've brought them on chain. Obviously, if you're a U.S. resident, you don't get to really just buy these. These are more for international focused or non-U.S. residents to get exposure to U.S. Treasury bills and just debts and stuff like that. Now, I've seen RWAs on rice, oil, wheat, gold, silver, bronze. They'll tokenize just about everything that you can think of, and people will speculate on it. I mean, God forbid we see a mortgage-backed security or the equivalent of an MBS in crypto that's an RWA. I would not be shocked if we see something like this in the next 2 to 3 years. Someone's going to try and put something together, at least on the institutional level, to literally scare the bejesus out of all of us, with people speculating on things like debt and just like yield off of debt. It's just it's kind of scary. And what's interesting is that we're going to see this, we're going to see more of this on Solana, even on Bitcoin, even on random layer ones that you've never heard of, things like Oasis, where they're using private smart contracts to help shield, PII or personally identifiable information. So you're going to see insurance, mortgage deeds, things like this come through, and people are going to try to find ways to tokenize them. And you as an investor can profit off of them. It's all a matter of how well that's going to work. But tangible assets coming on chain, definitely coming. The main reason for that is because people are tired of speculating on really poorly backed assets. So the more we can do that, the better it's going to be. DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks. This has been a hot topic for a while. Has anyone heard of HiveMapper? HiveMapper. So HiveMapper is a device. They sell something called the HiveMapper. It's like $400. It's a device that you can put on your dashboard, and it will use GPS to create maps. Like they're looking to become a decentralized version of Google or Apple Maps. Rideshare people, of course, see this as a really cool investment because as they're out going and dropping people off, they're helping build maps. If you're on Solana, where a lot of the DePIN has moved from a block space cheapness type of move, you can find their token. It's called Honey. So if you see Honey, that is HiveMapper. Other big projects, Helium is one that a lot of people have heard of. It's the Internet of Things decentralized network. They've moved into 5G offering. So Helium Mobile, I think is what it's called. It's $20 for 5G, and it's decentralized. There's decentralized VPN to make it so much easier to airdrop farm. Financial advice. But there are things out there that are all part of DePIN. It's going to be a hot narrative for at least the next 6 to 18 months, in my personal opinion, as more of these tangible things come on chain. Blockchain-based utility projects and all adjacent technologies. I don't have it on the list, but DeSci, decentralized science, also in this same vein with trying to bring real-world utility on chain through infrastructure networks. I put GameFi up here now because we've been talking about GameFi and NFTs kabooming for the last 2 years. Maybe this is the time that it happens. Ultimately, we're going to have to see a little bit more movement, I think, out of our Asian markets, because that's where most of gaming or people that or customers that would utilize these types of things would probably come from, to be quite honest. all you have to do is kind of look at where microtransactions come from. So mobile friendly, mobile first games. There are a lot of people that do that. Being able to just literally just use crypto to pay for currency that people spend now with regular fiat currency is going to be huge. I do think you can make the case that GambleFi could be an adjacent technology to this, specifically in the case of on-chain casinos. They're still around. They're going to start moving around to cheaper blockchains or faster blockchains as they come out. Even zero knowledge blockchains. That's actually very interesting. I haven't seen any ZK developers talk about this, but the ability to use ZK proofs to verify and ratify like poker hands, roulette hands, and stuff like that. You guys can have that one for free. But it could be profitable. And I do think if there's one thing that goes well with crypto, it's always gambling. So keep a lookout. Obviously, we saw a little bit of a GambleFi narrative on Arbitrum mid last year that didn't pan out, but it could still happen. And I do think that GameFi, there is momentum. There are games like there's a game on the Epic Games Store, Gods Unchained, I think, and then there's another one from Sony that's out there. There are games that are coming up. Bloodloop is another one too. Shrapnel and Avalanche. These are all getting traction, and it's all a matter of how can we find better ways to create blockchain investment opportunities more than just CS:GO skins. Privacy and ZK. These are two things that have gone hand in hand. If you haven't caught it yet, I'll post it soon. Andrew on Wednesday had a really great presentation on what he's learned through all of his travels here so far during the development week, because right now we're in the main event stage of ETHDenver. So zero knowledge proofs, zero knowledge blockchains, zero knowledge rollups. They're all kind of fighting with different technologies to create the same outcome. And it's good and bad. It's bad because we don't have that one standard. It could be a long time before that happens, to be quite honest, and we don't necessarily want 3 different standards running around, but they'll probably come together and make something happen. Privacy is going to be huge, specifically from a sovereignty standpoint. Depending on how you look at the world, pretty sure we're going to be seeing a war in the next 3 to 5 years of some level. Nations are going to tell you what to do with your money or how to control your money. Privacy is going to be huge. There's a lot of countries that don't want you to invest in privacy coins. Binance has been very open about delisting privacy coins. So that should tell you that there are some bullish blockchains out there that do privacy that you should consider buying coins for. I'm not going to name any of them, but they're out there. Monero. Liquid staking and liquid restaking tokens. So the idea of liquid staking is very simple. When you stake with a validator, your money is locked in there. You don't have any access to those tokens. Liquid staking gives you a way to stake your tokens into a validator, but receive a marker, I guess if you want to call it that, an interest-bearing token as a receipt of your position. You can take that token and farm it at different places. We see that with Lido, right? STETH, you can farm that everywhere. Rocket Pool ETH, RETH, that's one that's out there. There are different versions even now of Bitcoin. Like there's Wrap BTC, which is from BitGo, that it's kind of, not enough people use it anymore. They still do. It's still the market leader. But then you still have things like Threshold, TBTC. So it's not technically liquid stake tokens in that case. It's wrapped. But if it's in a situation where you're actually staking with validators to help secure a network, this is definitely a market where, specifically in the bull market, any place that someone can market make, they're going to try and do it. So giving investors the opportunity to market make any type of liquid token or staking token is going to be big TVL. So keep that in mind. So obviously the hottest one right now is going to be, there's really hot ones on Solana with Blaze, Marinade, and even Jito. If you're looking at Cosmos, Stride, Persistence, Those are big blockchains that do literally nothing but liquid staking. And then, of course, on EVM, you have multiple products that do liquid staking, like Stater, like Lido, Rocket Pool, and some of these others. I put here the take that I have is it's really bullish to have fun aping into a hotly speculated asset paired with its own derivative asset with 10x leverage for points on a future airdrop. I only say that in jest because it's probably happening right now. So the idea that you can take Sol and actually just like on Camino, you can do it right now. You can go and if you just have Sol, you can deposit Sol in a Camino Finance into a B Sol position, gain like 20%, and then farm 5 different ways to get into an airdrop with leverage. And it sounds crazy, but people are doing it. You're going to see more of these things coming out. Not all liquid staking tokens, of course, are alike. You're going to see, like, as much as I love AVAX, no one really uses it. I'm sorry. We have people in the audience and even watching at home that are going to roast me for that. But sure, go pool AVAX, keep going. But we'll see. Anyway, liquid restaking. So a lot of liquid restaking is centered around EigenLayer. It's an independent project that is providing security to anyone that subscribes to their active validator service. We're going to see more of these mechanisms. Why? Because EigenLayer got 5.5 billion TVL in literally 60 days. So really hope that EigenLayer pans out. And people have been asking me, what do you think about EigenLayer? I'm like, I really hope they do something cool. Otherwise, there's $5.5 billion put in something that no one's going to use. And someone asked, well, are people using it now? I'm like, yeah. Mantle, the layer 2, is an EigenLayer blockchain, rather roll-up. So we're going to see multiple of these roll-up type of architectures, these mechanisms. Dimension is another one. They have their roll app. We talked about that almost 2 years ago in one of our roundtable calls, and now they're finally making it to mainnet. So I think we're going to see more of these abilities to be able to liquid restake and do things like that. Meme coins, of course, will always be a thing. We just love a good shitcoin. Anything with a good cult-like following, a good Ponzi. Of course, we all know that meme coins have very little utility. Some of them are going to try. SHIB has done a lot of really interesting things. I'm not going to fade them. Never going to use it, but they have done things. If you made the sacrifice for both. Anyway, so are we going to see a meme coin index coin this cycle? I think we might. And what I mean by that is a coin that literally indexes all of the major meme coins that are out there, and you get exposure to all of them by purchasing this coin. That would be very interesting, right? Yeah, it's like the ultimate FOMO. Yeah, it's like that's an ETF that people probably would laugh at, but in secret they're going buy. You're like, yeah, it's like 2 cents, and you're like, really? Okay, I'll buy some of that. But again,
gives you exposure to everything.
Yeah, everything from like bonk to used car. Funny little meme coins that made it out there. So we'll see. Time will tell. But outside of the takes, and I like to be a little jokey with some of these things. But I do want to do bring it back around to mindset, because that's really of course it's the title of this workshop. So let's talk about bull market mindset. But ultimately, you're going to need to create a bull market investment plan. And of course, when I talk about investment plans, if you followed our trainings, again, feel free to join us on School for free if you want to do that. We're talking about allocations, entrance and exit strategies, mindset cues, and literally creating an all-weather portfolio. All-weather portfolios, whenever we talked about them, were always with the mindset of if everything goes to absolute goblin town, right? So the idea is like, do you like your allocations if the market goes down 50%? How about if it goes down another 90%? We never really talk about if the market goes up 90% from tomorrow. What are you going to be happy with your allocation? So that's something that I think you guys should definitely think about. What would that look like? Ultimately, you still don't want to FOMO. It's going to be super easy to FOMO. I've already heard about 3 coins today that I should have FOMO'd into. And I didn't, because thankfully I'm way too tired and too busy. But there are a lot of farmers that are doing it today. You don't have to be FOMOing into things. There's going to be tons of opportunities out there. Even blind squirrels get nuts. Am I right? But ultimately, you have to be strong in your first principles. Understand what is your risk tolerance. What are the outcomes you're looking to give and get? And you need to stick to them. Because yes, there are going to be some great things out there, but the big picture is this is still a long game, right? Anything you're doing here is really just to improve your long hold allocations. Obviously, we're going to be rotating in and out to try and cash out, take profits. I don't think you have to do it with your entire portfolio. You just take half your portfolio and do that, because you still want to have a strong hold of BTC and ETH, because you DCA'd into it this far. Why sell it all now? What if it goes to 150K? You're like, what happened to all your BTC? Oh, I rotated it out for AVAX. Yeah, or exactly. I got a meme coin ETF, AVAX, and XRP. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, and I say that quite literally, just like think about how that sounds. So be very careful with what you're doing here. Obviously, one thing we talk about today, don't farm emotionally, don't marry your bags. I know people that are increasingly diamond hands on certain things, and that's fine. But don't marry your bags. You're like, if you get into a position, you're like, yeah, this got me 40x. Great, take profit and get out. There's no, it's hard to replicate the same outcome over and over again. Yes, you could get lucky enough for that to happen. Most likely it won't. We have something in our training we talk about, which is called the Dunning-Kruger principle, where, you know more than you don't know more than you really do know, or survivorship bias. You're not going to have the same exact outcome every single time, and you shouldn't bank on that. That is pure speculation. You can always make more later, come back to it. Ultimately, you want to disassociate yourself from your bear market behaviors. A lot of people in the bear market, it's a time to set and forget, right? You're just accumulating, getting that nice little nut storage there, and you want to, hold on to it while you're hibernating and waiting for the bull to come back. You're not really going to do that in the bull market. There's going to be plenty of opportunity. The market is just intrinsically different. Yes, everything's going to be worth way more, but you should be doing more with your portfolio to help accelerate the gains, because the gains are there for you just to take. I said this earlier, and I really do mean this. You need to form a team. Find buddies to help keep each other accountable. You're on our mastermind. Obviously, you all know we all work together to help each other win. People that come to our mastermind are always really surprised. They're like, everybody's so positive. Everybody's so helpful and encouraging. It's because we all know that we need each other to help become winners. All of us bring something different to the table. I am astounded on a daily basis on the alpha that a lot of our users hear about and come and bring to us. Because even though we live, eat, and breathe DeFi as a team, we don't know everything. We can't know everything. My wife and 3 kids would kill me if I tried to do all of that. But essentially, use the team of people that you have, the tribe that you're going to form, and split the load of who's going to become an expert in a certain set of concepts. Because I would rather you become really good at 2 or 3 things and have a wheelhouse than to be kind of spraying and praying at 15 or 16 different concepts and not know a whole lot about any of them. And then you end up saying the wrong thing or looking at the wrong thing and you get wrecked. And that kind of rolls into the next point. And this is key. Be honest with yourself on what you can do alone. And I really mean that. A lot of people have told me that a lot of times it's easy when they're inside of the mastermind or inside of our school group to listen to others and see what they're doing because it makes sense. But when it comes time to doing it themselves in front of the computer, they kind of freeze. They don't know exactly what they want to do. Doing this over and over again with a team, even if you just check in weekly, group chat. That's the beautiful thing about technology. Group chats are fantastic. You can share everything in those types of things. And Yeah, you can do more with a team of winners in terms of mindset and alpha processing. You can pick each other up when one's feeling down, and we'll all win together. There's plenty of opportunity for all of us to eat, and I want everybody to do so. One thing that we talk about as well as a meme within our community is confusion equals money. A lot of people still don't understand what that means. Confusion equals money really means that a lot of people will look at what we do and they think that's way too much work. Not worth going in and doing all of this because I have better things to do with my time. That's fine. You don't have to. That's more for us that really see through that confusion and see the money, because most people aren't going to take the time to do what we do to make this money. One thing that you're going to have to master is staying calm. I know a lot of people that panic. I will say I just give all the credit in the world to members in our community that when they face adversity, they stayed calm. They didn't freak out. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They clicked the bad link. The first thing they did was go to revoke.cash and revoked those transactions. They revoked the approvals. They asked for help. They did exactly everything we taught them to. And as long as you can stay calm and be objective about what you're doing, you're going to do great in this bull market. I definitely do think you should practice until it becomes second nature. Even if you're just practicing with $5. The idea is that most things in investing are not only cyclical, but they're repeated. So understanding how that works, practicing until it becomes second nature can be really, really big. Pardon my French on this, but you need to have a healthy fear of fucking up. And I definitely mean that because we do it all the time. I'll be very transparent.
We actually talked about that in the car.
Yeah?
You don't have the expectation that somebody's going to be covering your ass.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Because guess what? This is self-custody. This isn't you, me, and Susan custody. You know, it'd be cool if we had a group like that. You know? They do have that. That's called a multi-thing. But ultimately, this is your portfolio, your wallet, your transactions. You always need to recheck what you're doing. You know, many of you know my friend Zach. Zach and I, you know, we say the same thing on terms of even if I'm bridging $100 or $10, I triple check every single time because all it takes is a real quick slip of the finger, and you don't realize that there's a gazillion amount of price impact, and you get boned on a trade, and you don't realize it, or a swap rather. One thing that one of our old operations managers pushed, and I thought was super important: journal your experience. And what I mean by that is just put a note. If you're tracking your transactions, just put a comment. Put a comment on how this felt, how you got here, what was like the key thing that you remembered by making this trade or making this win or even getting this loss. It'll help you with making good and bad decisions. And again, a lot of investing is cyclical and repeated. And seeing these patterns again in the future is going to be key, especially in a bull market where literally I have seen people who know nothing about code click a button to create tokens and protocols and just launch them out there. So I know we make the joke, click a button, win a house. It actually happens. And you know, you see people hiring people on Fiverr to set up things for them. Those are the ones to be very weary of, but sometimes they catch fire and you're going to be kicking yourself wishing I should just put $50 in there. Where would I be right now, right? That's more BTC I could buy afterwards, or just, you know, profit. So let's talk about reality. So we've talked about a lot of things so far. Honestly, a lot of you may still be overwhelmed by what you're seeing. You're seeing things on Twitter. You're seeing things on the news. You're walking the floor at ETHDenver and being drowned in swag and hearing things going over your head about what people are doing. Because it may or may not pertain to things that you want to do. The key is, it's okay to stop, take a breath, and step back, because you need that plan to walk you through this next bull cycle. A lot of you still have a bear market mindset. You're scared to pull the trigger, because what if we leave Denver and Bitcoin drops to 45K? What type of panic is going to happen? Besides the fact that Susan's going to be happy because that means you can buy more Bitcoin. And see, that's the opportunistic mindset you should have. You know, when people saw Solana at $8, they're like, what do we do? I'm like, you buy. You know, Solana hit 140 yesterday. If you would have bought it $8, oh my God. One thing too, and we talked about this earlier today here at the Beacon House, a lot of people can be unsure on how to move forward, right? So you're like, Chris, in the bull market, I was here in this GMX position and it's been giving me about 15%. And I see your Beacon farming spotlight and I'm seeing positions where I can get ETHUSD for like 970%. I don't know if I should change my GMX position and go for this 900% position. I kind of want to, but should I? And honestly, the answer is no. You could put some of your money towards it, but ultimately, if you've been in a position like a GMX, you may have multiplier points. You may have these things that have been there from the beginning that you will lose if you cut those positions. If you're in a bull market, things are rising so much you can find quick hits to, help fund other movements that you may want to do. Now, if you're in a complete dud of a position and you're like lending USDC for 1.5%, yes, get rid of that position. I mean, we have positions now where you can get USDC for 20%. Go to those because you're still lending, right? You're still using it as collateral. Ultimately, look at the landscape, see everything on the resources that you're seeing, and make a new bull market action plan. And what I mean by that is full entrance and exit strategies, risk profile, which probably should be a little bit looser of risk than in the bear market, and expected outcomes, expected results, and the time horizon you're looking for. That's the key. That's the biggest key in making these plans. If you put down that you want to make, 200% year over year in 6 months, you are kidding yourself, because that's not going to happen in any market condition. So have realistic plans, make it be a fluid plan. We'll talk about that more in a second. So we'll talk about principles of what the plan should have. Your plan should still be to get majors, because ultimately you're going to be DCAing back into them when we round trip at them anyway. So you might as well still have some majors to play with when you get there. You need to have the long-term bets, the high conviction bets. You need to make sure that security is a big part of your plan. Keep good operational security, because ultimately we saw a lot of people get targeted and drained during the bear. It's going to be 10 times that amount during the bull. Anything that seemed like it was going to be a great thing could just be wiped out within the blink of an eye. So make sure you still have due diligence. Make sure you know the right things to look for when you look into a protocol, and just be smart about it. Again, with the playing, you want to make sure that you have your desired outcomes with event horizons, and research the coins that you just have an interest in. That's very subjective, right? What are the coins that I have interest in? Honestly, we talked about some of these narratives. They're a good place to start. AI, of course, is a good place to start. Real world assets, decent place to start. Liquid restaking, liquid staking tokens are a really good place to start. These are things that are going to stay hot. They have a ton of TVL behind them. You can use DeFi Llama to track those trends. Be prepared to optimize your plan continuously. And what I mean by that is your plans are going to change a lot, because there are going to be things that are going to come out that will change your mind, whether you like it or not. You may not be able to set and forget because, let's say, Beefy implodes. Not that Beefy Finance is going to implode. I'm not implying that. But we never thought that multi-chain as a bridge was going to get hacked or go away because the founders got arrested. I'm not going to go into what happened, but they crippled 4 entire blockchains, literally in 24 hours, because of things that you can't control. This is still DeFi. This is still unregulated. Even as regulations come in, we'll get better controls, new opportunities. You can have a framework to play with it. So be prepared to optimize your plan continuously, because regulation is on the way. It absolutely is. Doesn't matter where you live in the world. They're going to try, and as sovereign nations, to try and control how you get and spend your crypto. All you can do is play within the framework. Fail forward and upward. Guess what, guys? You're going to take some L's along the way. Not everything's going to be a W. You're going to take some losses. Fail forward and upward. Journal. Get the experience, because you can pick yourself back up. I've seen people get rugged and then make 30 grand 2 days later. It happens. Not saying that that's going to happen to you again, survivorship bias, but it can happen. But make sure you fail upward. You need to have the smarts to not do that again. Again, play on narratives and hype, and not necessarily on fundamentals with regards to bull market plays. What I mean by that is, you're going to see a lot of stuff in this bull market that makes no sense whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. Like, for example, Pandora with ERC 404 makes no sense whatsoever, yet it almost flipped Bitcoin in a barely bull market. We're going to see more and more of these coming along. Doesn't matter what kind of coins they are, they're going to have narratives and weird little hype. You saw Bonk get listed on Coinbase and the Solana phone blow up. It's a really not good phone. But then the idea that it could be by the rumor, sell the news. But ultimately, hype is a very important catalyst when you're dealing with cult-like situations. We all like a good cult. We all like a good Ponzi. That's not bear market mindset. It's definitely bull market mindset. And again, I'll say it again, do this with a group. Mainly because it's good to find other people that win. You don't want to be in the group where everyone loses, right? Who wants to do that? Not me. Not with the bears. Be the ruler of your focus and don't spread yourself too thin. Again, know what you want to know, focus on the things that really matter to you, and hone in, be the ruler of those things. Like, if that's something like Lisa, if you want to be an airdrop farmer, I want you to be the queen of airdrop farming. Well, knowing what that means is literally coming down to, I know that I need to follow the PR department for this protocol. I need to follow them on these protocols, and I need to watch. I need to see where the community is going, and I want to make sure that I know I can tell others how to replicate these results that are in my little group. And they'll of course come out with something else. I'll go, I was hearing about roll-apps. This is what you need to look into if you're looking if the protocol on a roll-app is going to be successful. Find that focus, find others, share your ideas, and strengthen numbers. If Beefy can take you all and put you on a vault and make money off of you, you can all use each other and vault your stuff together. Vault your alpha. It's going to be great. Remember that you're never going to get rich quickly. It's a fool's errand if you think it's going to happen. There are some people who are lucky enough to, win the lottery and get rich overnight. Let's be very honest. How many of those people are still rich? Yeah, it's fair. Crypto investing, DeFi investing is a marathon with some really good sprints in between. We're in a good sprinting period. So have the mindset that you should be running. There are going to be times where you shouldn't be running. You should be accumulating. And but we're still in this mode. We're still in this crypto nirvana. We're still going to be on the road to financial freedom. That's all. Any questions I can answer, feel free to put them here in the chat. Anyone here have a question live? Happy to answer them. You want to get a photo of that bull? I'll pay for it. If you want to get that tattoo. He is very pretty, isn't he? Got 8 people on the stream? Please give a like. If you have a question, feel free to put it here in the chat. Happy to answer to it. Good to see you all. But yeah, it's all about this bull market mindset. There's Susan waving hello. Everyone wants to come and wave hello.
Hi, girls.
Oh yeah, it should be tracking. This thing doesn't track, but everybody here say hello.
Hello.
Hello. A little bit of an audience. Happy ETHDenver. There's Wayne.
From Melbourne, Australia.
Hey, it's moving. It was not moving before.
Hi, from Melbourne, Australia.
There we go. Yeah, we got about, he's just, no. Me. Follow me. I know. This is technology at its finest that I can't get it to work with me here. Yeah, it's right here. Follow. All right, it's broken. Anyway, I'm just going to come down here and just talk. I broke the camera. But anyway, thanks for joining us today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. This is again on our YouTube channel. And leave a comment if any questions. Of course, leave a like. Tell everybody else about what we're doing here today. And again, join our free group, TVL, Total Value Locked. And other than that, thanks for your time. Hopefully you found good value in today's workshop. And again, it's about getting that action plan. It's time to get ready to get into a bull market. And lots of stuff's going to be flying at you. We'll have a little bit more of that alpha in some future posts with our mastermind and our TVL free group. So that's about it. Oh, Math Collectives in the comments, Liz says that he does tattoos. So if you want a tattoo of that bull, we can get that done. I don't even know. We're going to speculate where you want to put that, but we can figure that out another time. Anyway, 07, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll have more information and just more thoughts about what we're doing here at ETHDenver soon, and more alpha for you guys. There's a lot of stuff going on. So have a great day. Have a great weekend. Keep winning. Keep building that TVL. Beat the banks. Beacons up, banks down. 07. We're out. That is a great bull, and I need to figure out how to get my.
I think if you put something in the flames that identify